Meanwhile, the Bureau of Public Safety says political leadership of the country must be held accountable for failing to design a long-term solution to recurring incidents of market fires. Joining us via Zoom is Nanaya Akwada, Executive Secretary for the Bureau of Public Safety. Thank you, sir, for your time. What's the position of the Bureau of Public Safety, taking into account that we've had recurrent fire outbreaks?
It's a myriad of issues, but if we want to look at this issue of annual ritual of fires in our markets, we must also understand that as a people, we must commit to ending this phenomenon or at least reducing it significantly. First of all, we all know that our markets are not built markets. They are formed markets. They are markets that one person settles here, starts selling, doing business, then another joins and another joins and another joins. And the city authorities, instead of moving in to design these spaces or build them, they also allow these markets to grow in the manner that it is formed. And it becomes a headache for all of us. So for starters, I think that we must build our markets. And these are not new solutions. These are things that we have been talking about, year on year when there are market fires. Two, I think that city authorities themselves must also commit themselves alongside with the fire department, the Ghana National Fire Service, in the education of traders, about fire safety. If fire service cannot shut down, if we can shut down our markets for clean up exercises, we should be able to shut down our markets for fire education. Okay, I'm told this is what happens when fire service goes to the market to go and do fire education. They will normally come with these huge speakers, PA system, play good music. The market women will leave their wares and come and dance. Once the music goes off and you start the education, then they remember their businesses they have to go and take care of. And all of them go and do business. So we should be able to shut down market operations and do fire trainings. We should be able to provide certificates for market men and market women, traders, for participating in fire training. Also, the ECG itself must have a team of auditors constantly on the neck of these emerging or evolving markets. Because we all know that 9 out of 10 times, most market fires are, caused by electrical wiring. So why have we sat down? Why are we sitting down every year on year, to see these things occur, and we pay lip service to them? 3, I think that political authority is shameless in this regard. Look, we've had these fires since time immemorial. There have been years that we've even brought the FBI to come and assist us, unravel some of these market fires. And today, we still have market fires, and Minister of Interior, Vice President, all kinds of politicians will go there and be making, fanciful pronouncements. I think that we must hold them to task to do the needful. They must ensure that markets are not formed, but they are built. And when markets start, emerging or growing up, the appropriate state agencies, the city authorities who go there to collect tolls and taxes from these people, move in there to sanitize their spaces, design their spaces. Fire service itself must have a policy that until a space, a commercial area, has provided a blueprint for us, until we have put in the necessary safety, measures, until we know where we can tap water from, until we know where we can enter this market from, where we can position ourselves from to fight fire, until we can say that we have a fire brigade of this space or commercial area, you cannot operate. They must have that as a policy. And this is not rocket science. This is something that they can do. So it's a myriad of issues that are not new to all of us. We've been seeing this from time immemorial, and I think that we must begin to hold persons in responsible places accountable for some of these fires. Until that is done, we would always be hurting ourselves in this manner. Today, the Interior Minister is promising psychological services to those hundreds of people who have lost their work. Psychological services may sanitize a person's mental health, but it doesn't bring money. It's not bringing back his capital. And for those psychological services, who is going to pay for it? It's not the Interior Minister's pocket money which is going to pay for these psychological services. It is you and I, our tax. The finance minister will go to parliament and go and say that, look, we need money. And for that matter, even if you are spending 50 pesos today, we will charge you e-levy because we need to go and hire a psychologist to go and counsel people whose words have bent because the Interior Minister, the fire service, and the city authorities have failed to do their job. Where does this happen? So I think that we as citizens must begin to hold, people in political authority accountable and completely reject those fanciful comments when these sad occurrences happen.
And I get the point you're making, but of course, let's be fair to the minister. He says he's reviewing the reports that he's receiving from the emergency response team, i.e. The fire service and the security agencies. Why not give him some chance?
He was hired to do his work. He was hired to review reports and take actions. Is this the first time a market fire has occurred? So I'm sorry, but sometimes I blame you, some of you people in the media. You fail to ask the relevant questions. Sometimes I see when all we want is just meeting a minister. There's been a fire, so a minister, a politician has to come and make statements. When they come, they make some of these, theatrical statements, and we let them go. If he's not going to review a report, how is he going to do his work? So it's part of his work to review reports, but this is not the first market fire that has occurred for him. Previous reports that he reviewed, what did he see and what did he do? Those are some of the questions you should be asking them and not allow them to come and tell us some of these things.
But to be fair, he wasn't present, so he must study the reports.
No, there's nothing fair about this. He's rather being unfair to Ghanaians by coming to tell us he's going to review the report. This is not the first market fire we've had. The Interior Minister has been Interior Minister for 6 years. In the last 6 years, he's been the Interior Minister. He has reviewed, unless he's trying to tell us previous market fires, he wasn't bothered. If he tells us that he wasn't bothered by previous market fires, and this is the first time he wants to apply himself to reviewing a market fire report, that is also an indictment on him. I'm sorry, but the truth must be told. You cannot be talking like this when people's capital is gone down the drain.
So that's Nanaya Akwada. Well, there's a need for us to expand this. What's been the impact on the traders and the cells? And we're fortunate to be joined in studio now by the General Secretary for the Ghana Used Clothing Dealers Association, Edward Atobra. It's a good time to be talking to you, but such an unfortunate incident, I must say. I'm sure that many of your colleagues are calling you and counting their losses. What do you have to say with regard to the amount of investment that has gone down the drain simply because of this inferno? Have you been able to, as an association, put a cost to it?
Yeah, I would like to sympathize with those who got their goods bent. Many people called me from, market women, the way they cry when such things happen. So we are trying to gather the data. We have someone who says he has about 63 bills.
63
bent.
bills?
Yeah, only one person.
Just one?
Yeah. So you can imagine the number of bills that got bent.
Right.
So we are working with them so that we can get the data. And then we had a call from the Ministry of Trade. So we are also waiting for a meeting to discuss the issue and how best we can do to handle this situation.
The area where this incident occurred, Would you say that looking at all the studies that have been done, this is one of the flashpoints in the market space and a reason for which we're possibly seeing the fires that we're seeing now?
Yeah. You know, anytime there's a bent, we have a rumor. And the rumor comes, and then sometimes leadership take it as a normal thing.
Oh.
So relaxing on such situations, you know, incur a heavy loss to the market. So we have decided to, you know, when you look at the bigger market,
Okay.
you know, there's a sub-market to the bigger market.
Of the bigger market,
Yeah.
right.
So when you look at the bigger market, we are putting in place structures. We have security men who watch over the market. We make sure that at the close of the market, all meters are off. And then we check all the lighting systems before we leave. So there are things in place to curtail the situation.
But for this side, that did not happen. And are you suggesting that at least you had some form of information that this was going to happen?
Yeah, a week earlier, we had information that the market is going to bend. So we didn't know exactly where. And then, unfortunately, it happened.
And that's, I'm curious about that, because how did you discover who were you told was going to be part of this action? And why didn't you take any steps?
Yeah, you know, the market is big.
Okay.
And as I said, you know, the bigger market, we are putting structures in place. And this is a market where we have some few people categorized specifically with such kind of goods. Like we have bear sheets, we have the material. These are the people who got their goods bent.
Okay, today, yeah.
Today. Yeah, so we didn't look so much into that area. We look at a bigger market.
Oh, so you are concentrating on the other side. So because you had information that this was going to happen. Was it because they are, as you're saying, just a small portion of the bigger space that you were protecting?
Yeah, it was a small space, but you know, the information came shortly, and then we needed to do something.
But how did you get this information? Who reported or gave? I mean, it sounded an alarm that you need to be on the lookout for this.
Yeah, always the market women. We have heard that the market is going bend, and something needs to be done about it. So the rumor comes, and then we try to take steps to curtail the situation, but unfortunately, it happened.
It happened. Would you say that this is a failure of proactiveness on the side of the leadership, of course, the groups that you represent, or on the part of the security agencies? Because at least having had that intel, you would have wanted to share with the Ghana Police Service or any other security agencies. So where do we lay this blame squarely now?
We didn't fail.
Okay.
You know, the market is structured that it's big. So we did our part to get in some security men and other stuff.
Did you inform the Ghana Police Service? I guess that would be the primary question that will be facing you then. Why?
We didn't do that. No, we tried to put in place measures before we can inform the security.
And then this happened today. And that's why I want to bring up this sensitive issue. It may be uncomfortable to you as market persons or persons applying your trade there at Kantamanto, but the argument has been that looking at the recurrent nature of this outbreaks, it appears that you, the market people, are to blame partly for this. We don't have any evidence for now, but the feeling is it's got to be from within, and that your own people may have an idea of what's happening.
Yeah, you can blame us. You know, some of them got information, but as to who is responsible, we don't know. And as the national security says, see something, say something. So if you're going to employ the same see something, say something, I think we are going to get the best result and then solve this situation out.
When this happened, I'm sure that as leaders of the market, you've done your meetings already. What have you resolved to do? Because, for instance, the National Fire Service is pointing out that we have some of the buildings even on the fire hydrants. So fighting the fire in the first place was a challenge. What have you resolved to do differently as leaders in the market?
No, it's unfortunate that some of the things we won't know what is going on in the market. So if somebody builds a structure on fire hydrant, then the national service must be taken responsible, you know, because we don't know where the fire hydrant is, but maybe it's a small portion. So how do we know? It is covered. So the person building on it knows that there's a fire hydrant here, but he decided to build on it. So the person in charge of that building should be taking responsibility for the burnt.
And the market itself, that's a very busy place. We all know it for what it is. But would you feel that looking at this incident now, this will be the time for us to have, say, a decongestion exercise within the market, just to free up some space and allow for the experts to properly plan the area? What will be your recommendation on that?
You know, for our research, we've known that anytime the market burns is on Tuesdays. So it's unfortunate that Tuesdays, many people don't go to market. And it burns on Tuesday. So it's not about...
That has been the trend ever since.
Exactly.
So almost every Tuesday, that's when it will happen.
Exactly.
Right.
So because of that trend, we have noticed that something is involved or somebody is involved. Because when there is nobody in the market is quiet, and that is where they do what they want to do.
Yeah, but my question is also about space in the market. I'm asking that question because normally we lay this blame squarely on the electrical faults, how we've not done the connections properly. So when that happens, you find that even in the reports that probably there's no space. We need to, decongest the area. I'm asking whether, as the Used Clothes Dealers Association, you'd also back that call for us to depopulate the area so that we can have proper planning there.
Yeah, the market needs to be expanded because more people are coming to the market. And when you look at the Ghana Used Clothing Dealers Association across the nation, we have about 2 million people trading on this particular goods. And you know that the number is huge. And then the markets needs to be expanded to accommodate more people.
Let's talk about the way forward. The fire service says investigations are underway. I'm sure that the National Security is also doing this. The Ghana Police Service will also come through. You indicated to me earlier that it was your fault. You couldn't inform the police ahead of this exercise. So now that the investigations are ongoing, would you provide the details of that information that was given to you prior to the outbreak of the fire?
Sure, but as I said, it's a rumor. And
no, I guess you were treating it as just rumor, right? You could have reported this to the Ghana Police Service. Yeah, and that's why I'm asking if going forward, you're willing to provide the details, the identities of the people who came to you to say, well, we understand there was going to be fire in the area.
Right now, identified, so many people came to report that they have heard that the market is going to burn, and they want to, some of them wanted to remove their goods from the market, and then we advised them that we are taking care of the situation, so nothing is going to happen. So unfortunately, it happened. So going forward, when we see or we hear something like this, at least it should be reported to the police for their investigations. And that is what I can say about it.
Is it a case that you are blaming someone else and not your association directly for what's happening? Because if you had the intel, you didn't call the police service as you're telling us. You should be taking responsibility for what happened.
You see, the market is such that if we don't have internal structures like the internal security where after the market, they will patrol the whole market. You know, some of them, they are electrical faults. So checking all those things are part of the securities we are providing for the market. But it's unfortunate we didn't report to the police.
Okay, so when you have the daily routine, do you have the police service and its men patrol the area, even aside this internal security arrangement that you have?
Sure. You know, we have two parts in the National Clothing Association.
Okay.
We have those who are retailers, those who are in the Kantamanto, and then we have the importers who
bring
the goods and offload
from
them
the ports
for the retailers to go and cut.
Okay.
No. So when we are offloading goods, we have police services coming to patrol because it's at dawn, around 3 a.m.
That's when you bring in the items.
We offload the goods.
Okay.
So we employ police people to come and check around,
But beyond that point, you don't have them focusing on the market itself simply because of the purposes of security.
Yeah, we have the railway police backing us. Especially when there's a case, we report to them, we call them to come around and all that. Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's wrap up, because I understand that you'd have to be heading into that meeting with the Trade Ministry. This must be a difficult time for you, knowing that the Christmas is just around the corner. We're struggling in terms of our economy. The exchange rate is also biting hand. As a business community, how will this impact you, or how is it even impacting you already?
This is a big blow to the Ghana Used Clothing Dealers Association, looking at how our economy is right now, and then crediting for goods, and then the goods got bent. How are you going to survive? You know, even right now we are trying to survive, and then your goods are bent. So where do you get money to feed your family? So we will also like the government to come in and then help us.
What would you precisely, what would you be on the lookout for from government in terms of helping you at this moment?
At least the government should come in and then, if not all, at least support us something to take care of the situation. In fact, those who got their goods bent, at least when we can support them, buy some few bills so that they can also be resilient and then continue their business.
Would this feature in that meeting that you're about to hold with the Trade Ministry? Are these some of the demands? And if there are more, probably you want to lay them out in terms of the demands that you'll be putting before government if you go into that meeting.
Yeah, so just some few days, when we meet the ministry, as early as possible, because of how the economy is going, people need to survive. And then they have to feed their families as well. So we will urge the ministries to at least support us with something.
With cash?
Not cash per se, but they can also come in to buy goods for those who have gotten their goods bent, so that they can also come out and continue their business.
Well, let me just give you the opportunity, because these are trying moments for your members out there. Just send a message out to them and speak to your members who are listening to us now.
Yeah, I would like to tell my members that they should take heart. We are working hard to, bring them back to the market. So they should exercise a little patience. By the close of the day, you will hear something from the ministry. And then we would like them to also be resilient, even though it's hard, but they should be resilient and then see how best we can do as an association to also help them.
And Edward Atobra is the General Secretary for the Ghana Used Clothing Dealers Association, obviously stating their position there. I will be on the lookout for that meeting with the Trades Minister. Obviously, we'll be